Good morning, and welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm getting better at this. I am Sean McDonough. I'm on the City Council. I've got Bob Hoey and Tom Bomil. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Little warm up.
Cisco rolled over and Freddie Bahou was en route.
Freddie Bahou's en route, and Cisco is he could be anywhere.
He could be down at CAP for all we know.
I didn't see. When I left this morning, I didn't see anybody at CAP.
Yeah.
And that tank he drives was not parked on Market Street.
Oh my God!
Yet, so.
It is a tank.
Huge. It's the biggest truck I've ever seen.
Oh.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but I know a good way to start the show off.
Oh, give it to me.
Do you have anything to say to give me an update on the Markley Group and what's going on in the city?
Yeah, well,
if you can.
I think that today's headline in the Lowell Sun is indicative of exactly what the Markley Group is and exactly how they intend to deal with the city. I think that at some point, we all in the city need to be capable of acknowledging, and I know that there's a faction within the city that is, I don't know, Markley lovers. They absolutely, I don't know what to call them other than, they say things like if you're not an enthusiastic Markley supporter, that you're funded by the Chinese to underfund. It's like this insane. You go down this rabbit hole if you don't like Markley. I am not funded by the Chinese or anybody else, really, that has a data center agenda. I think that the lawsuit shows you they have no intention of working with the city. They have no intention. The same thing that we've heard from residents in the Sacred Heart neighborhood for a decade, which is every time we ask them to do anything, they make a lot of noise, act like they might do something, then do nothing and make our lives worse. And so the data center moratorium goes in place. We say, okay, so now we're going to work with these guys. We put the moratorium in place. We're going to work with these guys. We're going to come up with some sort together. We can work together with Markley on what does a data center look like. What you're the only one in the city, but what does this look like in a way that works for the business, for the neighborhood, for the broader city? And their response is to sue the city and say your moratorium shouldn't apply to us. So if anyone still thinks they're, approaching this in good faith or that they have any intention of working in any way towards a compromise with the city of Lowell, I don't really know what evidence you have to go off of.
I've been following it on TV. That's the only I love watching Fox. I'm not going to lie to you, but what I'm getting out of that is the big issue is probably the power that these places need, electricity, and it's affecting everywhere they go. And Lowell's at the forefront of that issue. And, got people like yourself, Kim Scott, our mayor, a lot of people are holding your ground, really, and you're kind of fighting against them, and you have to. But I think they're going to buy up. That's the way I've seen other places. They buy up everything around them. All the land. I've gotten
emails, and I'm sure other councilors have. I've gotten emails from, one on Civic Plus was from a guy in Indiana who lives near a data center. I forget who's it's bigger than ours, but they're putting one in, and these emails that we're going through this too, and it's I actually don't think Lowell is nearly as bad off as that community in Indiana. The Indiana one is a massive facility, but no, it's an issue that is, I guess it is now a national issue, and it's.
I'm glad Bobby's talking about electricity, because I just got my bill, and half of the bill is all these surcharges for solar panels that I don't have, for being a customer, which
being a customer,
exactly. The subsidies for all these, programs that we're paying is what's making everything unaffordable, I guess. The Markley thing, huh? The thing too is there's a lot of money involved with that. Look at all the service fees that are being charged on everything, for every program that you're using on your phone, the companies, the cities. MIS has gone through through the roof, right? The cost for the city?
Yeah, MIS is way up.
That pays for the electricity. These companies are not running, non-profit companies. They're making good money doing what they're doing, and it's true what Bobby said. They're buying up, not only are they buying houses, they're buying small companies around the plant in Lowell to expand, and those jobs are going further away from Lowell, which is, something we brought up the other day is like, it's great to have housing, but without the jobs, it's not going to be good.
Well, but there's also this like myth or this idea that a data center is a major employer, and I think it's really funny. And if people, in the media or wherever else could be bothered to do just 15 minutes of research beyond just confirmation bias and marketing material. What's available to rural communities when they're talking, and when you read the positives of data center development, what I have read is largely aimed at rural communities in Middle America, where the increased tax revenue. So there is obviously an increase in tax revenue after the TIF runs out, if whatever community gives them one, whatever. But that the biggest advantage is that you get this commercial industrial development that pays your commercial industrial tax rate, but there's not a corresponding increase in your workforce. So there's not the major infrastructure demand on your schools and your sewers, and you don't have people looking to move in. You don't need more housing. Because they're not major employers, right? It's one of very few industrial uses for land.
Exactly.
Right, so every time I hear in Lowell, all the jobs, there are, in Councillor Dakota asked the question, when the moratorium went in place, you keep saying we're going to lose jobs. What are the jobs? I go, the jobs are in the building. The jobs are in the building. Okay, construction jobs are good. Construction jobs are great. But it's not an employer. It's contract work. It's building work. It's an employer as much as the stretch of road is an employer. It's not an employer. You got to work on it. You got to build it. It's important, skilled work. But this is not a long-term employer in the city of Lowell.
Well, you think
It's just not.
you think of these companies. What brings them to cities, right? Is the infrastructure that's already built here, that's already being. Especially up in Massachusetts, where really our infrastructure's been here for hundreds of years.
But Cisco, you don't see these things, and this is what I keep about this data center in particular. You don't see these centers, large scale ones, other than from the Markley Group. The majority of these places that are being built, you're seeing being built in rural communities with access to, they want cheap water, they want cheap electricity,
Exactly.
They want cheap land.
Yeah.
So they're in the middle of a neighborhood, and it's an industrial zone neighborhood. Okay, they're in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, no.
That's not.
Well, but you see, Sean, city council, it's up to them to manage the sound levels. You guys just got to pass a doggone rule that says, you know what, this many decibels cannot exist. Otherwise, you get a $500 a day fine.
Right.
And once it's $5,000 a day fine. You can't do that because they're already there. Okay, well, how did you change the speed limit from 30 to 25 then? It was always 30. You guys had no trouble making it 25.
Well, I think the other issue though is that on the land use, and I have something in tonight, and still finalizing because I can tell there's going to be noise about it. Councillor Scott and I have something in tonight to try and limit the number of diesel generators that you're putting on a single site. That 30 megawatt hour that we used is, or the 30 megawatt capacity. That's instantaneous peak power demand. I looked. I can't find anyone else in the city that gets anywhere close to that amount. When I looked through on fuel storage for generators, I couldn't find anyone else that gets close to where we're at right now. So Markley comes in, and they've done this before. The hospital uses a diesel. The hospital uses a diesel generator. They're not. Markley's a 40 megawatt facility. They have plans to be a 100 megawatt facility. The hospital's emergency backup generator, they get 2. It's 6 megawatt. It's not. They have 2 3,000 kilowatt, and maybe I'm missing one, but it's not. And my argument, or one of my arguments, I guess, on the land use front is that I think you got to be out of your mind if you can't see that there is a meaningful difference in land use between having one 3,000 kilowatt hour diesel generator that's geared up and ready to go, or 10, which would be to get to the 30, right? Or 20 or 30 or 50 or 80 or 100. Like at some point there must be, right? At some point I'm looking at the land use and saying, or anyone I think should be able to look at the land use there and say, well, how many of these things can be running on a plot of land here at once before it changes the intensity of the use of the. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
the question I would be asking is, I guarantee these companies have done studies to determine what the threat is of losing power. And based on that, they are going to spend as minimum money to make sure they continue their business.
Right.
So they must know that the infrastructure that they're connected to has a potential of coming apart, failing for some period. And if they're drawing a lot of electricity on an infrastructure that they're not very comfortable with, what does that leave the rest of the community with? You know what I mean? Because the rest of the community doesn't have backup power. They're not on generators. If the power goes down because the demand is like today, for example, what's the temperature going to be today?
Yeah, it's going to be 90, 95.
Well, right, and we all get, if you're a school or whatever, and I think the mayor put this up on Facebook, but if you're a school or depending on what kind of user you are, you got an email that said, hey, be mindful of your electricity use today. It's going to be really hot. We don't want to have a brownout. You think Markley got told, hey, cut back on your electricity today? No.
Yeah. And you see the blackouts happening on the West Coast. If you don't study the West Coast, you're not prepared, because the West Coast usually indicates some of the stuff that's coming towards the East Coast. So if you see the blackouts, how did they deal? They had a bunch of blackouts last year, right? What caused their blackouts was a greater demand on poor infrastructure for electricity.
No, because California demands green energy. They shut off all the nukes. Shut off the nuclear power plants to supply us energy, and we'll have brownouts here.
Oh, yeah.
But then you also have.
That's California's problem.
You also have in the city, and it's the same people on every whatever. It's not the same people because there's some carryover, but you have people. We have all the development coming in through the Link project with the university, which is this high tech manufacturing like at Draper, etc. Right? These are also places that are going to have a good electric demand. Those places actually employ people, though. There's people actually like a lot of people, permanent employees in a manufacturing facility, right? Even a high tech manufacturing facility. So it's just thinking about the demand on the grid, the jobs that are coming back in, what we're using the space for, where it's being built, and what's running it. And again, we tried to work with the Markley group. At least speaking for me, I called the manager probably two and a half weeks ago. We had gone on this tour. I was like, all right, we went on the tour. Here's what I'm saying. What if we tried to do something like this? And not going to lay it all out, because Markley responded, but it turns out I didn't know at the time, because I don't check land court regularly. Markley had already sued us. Okay. Then they show up at.
No.
And they do this marketing video at our Lowell.
Buyer
all these
beware.
people in Westford talk about how amazing the data center is in the
Buyer
neighborhood.
beware.
Yeah, what you're looking at here is an electric power plant over on Tanner Street.
Steam plant created a
It's
lot
not.
of steam. Well, but it was a power, but they used the steam to warm up some of the city.
Are you ready?
Yes.
It's not a steam plant.
I'm going to go get coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll turn my mic
You're
off.
beautiful.
Okay?
Don't change
There
your
is
way.
a jet engine over there.
So,
There's a jet engine.
There's a
so
jet
what
engine.
else?
Bobby, I'm going to tell you the story on this because
All right.
the city has no idea what Markley's doing, if Markley owns this piece of property. Whoever owns this piece of property is rejuvenating it. There's a jet engine over there. It's an engine off a 747 or whatever favorite plane you have. It's a jet engine. There's a muffler on it. You can't hear it when it's operating. when they operated this plant, and now it's defunct, when they operated this plant and the muffler was broken, it woke up the whole neighborhood for that weekend. That's how loud that is. It's like a 747 being parked in your driveway. And so the city has got to be aware of this, that they're gonna fire this thing up. Oh, they bought it, oh, that's not us, that's owned by Larry and Curly and Mo, that's not our
Well,
name.
no, that's Markley, and but this is, so Councilor Scott and I have another motion in tonight, on this Tanner Street lot, because part of this lawsuit that Markley is saying is, well, we said it was all gonna be a data center. Well, we never, as far as I'm aware, we never said, yeah, the moratorium doesn't apply to that plot. Markley goes in front of the planning board, they say, well, we have no idea what we're gonna do with that. We don't know. It could be anything.
Is this the planning board?
They
The
go and
planning
yeah.
board works just for Tom Golden, and it's
But
all about revenue.
The point
They're not allowed
is,
to say no, or you lose your seat.
the point is that Markley goes in and they say, well, we don't know. Maybe it's probably, we don't have to tell you if it's a data center or not. We don't know what it is. And so they're getting demo permits. They've had a fire hydrant access for water spray. But now their lawsuit is saying, well, this parcel shouldn't apply to the data center moratorium. Well, why? I thought we didn't know if it was a data center or not. So now if it is going to be a data center, you want to tell me it's supposed to be a data center, how'd you get all these permits?
Where is the stop order from the court, or is our
my question.
law department on vacation?
I don't know. We're going to find out tonight.
John's mentioned noise a couple of times. Does Lowell have a noise ordinance, and
Yes.
who enforces it? Board of Health or the building department,
Well, they should look into the
Bill,
trains
DDS
every morning.
and DDS and LPD. Health and Human
So they
Services.
have a,
Yeah.
okay,
Hey, Tom, the loudest noise in the city comes from our trains.
yeah,
They're exempt in when you look at 202.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
railroad rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a safety thing. They try
Sure.
to tell you, we're ready to go back and forth to Boston, be careful of the Bud liners there.
Right.
But that Markley group, I remember when it was first presented to the city, and they're going to give it a TIF and everything. And when you're from that area, which I am, Chambers Field, Olivera Field, now it's called, we had Prince Macaroni, we had Preston Fuels with coal, cannel coal and charcoal briquettes, all kinds of industrial stuff going on in that general area. But when I seen Markley's building go up, I'm telling you, it's an ugly sight to me. No, really.
It is.
And back when they let them have that land, you want to talk about a nice piece of land. You had Hales Brook running through it with a ton. I can't imagine how many small places we could build for elderly people, let's say, or handicapped people.
And when that
We
building-
made a mistake, but there's a lot of mistakes we've
And when
made.
that building was being built, a lot of people made a lot of money.
Yeah.
No,
Lawyers,
I understand
some
that.
lobbyists.
But once
I know.
it's done though. You're not going to turn it around. I mean, I drove by the high school yesterday, and you're not going to turn that around either. You had a bunch of people like myself that wanted it downtown, and that's where it ended, downtown. And I can't wait till Fred Bahou gets here anyways, because Fred always brings the best out in me, because he's on that school committee, and they have a meeting, I'm pretty sure, right after you on Tuesday. They have a meeting on Wednesday. So a lot of good stuff happening.
I think just last time and then I'll stop on Markley for a second.
Yeah.
I think that Markley, they're arrogant. Two, they clearly have no intention of working with the city or with anybody else at coming up with any sort of guardrail, right? And so if you can't compromise with someone on it, if your response to, hey, we need a 1-year pause to come up with rules, can we all work together, including you, Markley, on coming up with what the rules are in the city of Lowell for these data centers and for these developments to protect the interests of residents and blah, 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 going forward. And their response is to sue you and say it shouldn't apply to us. Why do we continue to try and be nice to the guy? Right? Like the guy is every chance he gets to not be nice, he's not nice.
All right.
Right?
You do know this about I say Markley. My friends, a lot of my friends that don't live in Lowell anymore, they think Markley's a good thing. They're not from Lowell, though.
Montclair could be a good thing. They're just piss poor neighbors.
They're
No,
just,
no.
well, and I think that's the point I'm trying to make right now is that they could be a good thing. They could have been a good thing. I think the moratorium was not a lasting thing. It was a 1-year pause, and to say let's work together on this, and to follow up with a lawsuit and flaunting and saying we don't need to work with you. The thing that the Markley Group needs to understand, and I've heard other people in the city. I've heard other people in the state say this. We don't work for you, right? I'm not Jeff. I don't work for Jeff Markley. None of us work for Jeff Markley, and I'm glad that he has all this money, and I'm glad he can, do ostentatious displays of wealth and pay this guy to paint these beautiful murals inside his place. I don't work for him.
How many city councils have donations for him?
You're not going to find him on the city council, but you can check the FEC for our congresswoman, and then you can check the OCPF for the state Democratic committee and the governor. He gave up on the city council. $18,000 to Laurie Trahan, I think $5 to the governor, or five to the Democratic the state thing. Maxed out a bunch to the governor, a bunch to the lieutenant governor.
Well, that's where he's expecting he's going to circumvent you guys.
Yeah, he's gonna.
But then, just political pressure being what it is, at first that there was this, really just no rules tax credit that had been proposed for data center, the sales and use tax exemption.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been walked back. Some guardrails have been put up. I think we're going to see where it goes. I don't think the ball is as firmly in. I don't think the ball is as firmly in Mr. Markley's court as it was a year ago. I think one of our, I think we've got some issues with our nearest federal representative, but I think statewide, Ed Markey's office had sent me over. They sent an email out texted me last night and then sent an email with his own the senator's discussion draft of an AI regulation bill that is significantly better than what came out of Congress, and I think the tides are turning. I do, and it doesn't strike me as a Democrat-Republican issue. I think there are Democrats that are really bad on this. I think there are Republicans that are really bad on this. I think there are Republicans that are pretty good on this. I think there are Democrats that are pretty good on this. This really does seem to be who's getting money.
Yeah, but I would caution the politicians because I would think locally you guys are fine.
Here we
But
go.
I think this is something that's even bigger. It's not, the attacks are not going to come from local politicians. They're going to come from statewide and federal politicians.
Can you see that? 'Cause
What
it's
has
blurry to
Councillor
me.
McDonough done to bridge the gap between Markley and the city? He has done zero. I, for one, am glad Markley sued. Okay. This has been a witch hunt against the future. We hope our country moves forward under the premise of a singular business.
I'm going to send my motorcycle club to park in front of this guy's house.
It'd probably going to Chelmsford, right? Water and energy Markley uses has zero effect on anyone's utility. False. Markley is not for profit company, right? I'm sure they pay the highest water and energy bill in the city by a long margin.
No, do they not draw water from Beaver Brook? I'm
Wait,
told they draw water from Beaver Brook.
The water utility has been inspecting that, and according to the water department, no.
Yeah.
Especially when you factor out nonprofit organizations such as UMass Lowell General Hospital. Has anyone asked Jeff Thomas, a South Lowell resident, what he thinks about Markley? It is an industrial zone. Facts are something that eludes Councilor McDonough's argument. Sure. What does Lowell General Hospital pay in city taxes? Buddy, you are all over the place. Can you?
Lowell General pays nothing.
Okay, I'm going to ask if this guy could go home, just take a deep breath, and then try and consolidate that to something that we could actually respond to.
Maybe he can run for council. Run for council.
I think you have to live in the city to run for council.
This guy's probably on the pay.
Massachusetts zoning strongly protects developers who have already invested heavily based on pre-existing rules, so Markley will always have the upper hand. And because of that, municipal moratoriums face an uphill battle in court. The best path to victory for the city is the citizens' lawsuit if they can win their case. Markley sued the city in April. If the sewer infrastructure is at max capacity, which it is, we can all see that with the consent decree put on us from the federal government. Why hasn't there been a restriction on the sewer discharge for all new permits? That's a good question. Good morning. Was it easy for the council to approve Markley because the area was a factory-style community for decades? Just wondering, on the water issue, how many of the city councilors have sprinkler systems for their lawn? I live on the 3rd floor of a building.
That's the Hampton Beach Bridge.
Yeah.
Progress on Hampton Beach
I
Bridge.
told you I could
Just
get
for Jeff
something
Thomas to
going,
enjoy that
question.
So I just to Dostoevsky or whoever it was with the novel. I don't even know how to begin responding. I almost need to see it again to try and parse through. But
I'm pretty sure that was Markley's lawyer that wrote all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Markley has very confidently asserted that they don't have an impact on the electric utility. They pay for their electric use. This is true. What large consumers such as Markley do not pay for, and this is why politicians from as wide a range on the national level, from Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump, from Rodney Elliott to Vanna Howard, have all said we need to make sure that there is regulation in place so that these data center companies are paying their fair share of the electric utility. You would not have bipartisan consensus within the party, outside of the party, federal, state, and local, all rowing in the same direction on this. For you to just, confidently text in and say that's baloney is strange. Yeah, that's a big ask, because what they're not paying for is the increased strain on the remaining electrical infrastructure. If you're using all this extra kilowatt hours that needs to be produced, that needs to be transmitted through the lines, the wear on the overall grid system, and any upgrades needed to the grid for everybody's grid, those do get passed on to ratepayers. Right now, those do get passed on to ratepayers. That is a fact. That's a fact, and it's one that eludes you. I don't understand how anyone can tell. I'm glad Markley sued the city. Went on the tour, talked to them for a couple hours. You try and do anything with these people, they talk out one side, they talk out the left side of their mouth, and they turn around and they do the other thing. They say, oh, we're not going to antagonize the neighborhood. Then they antagonize the neighborhood. Oh, we want to do same old story on Markley. Let's talk important issues. What's better, cooked in a crock pot, beef or pork? Pork.
Bob mentioned about that could have been his lawyer. Bill Martin's one of their lawyers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Former councilor,
Yeah.
former mayor.
No, I think Bill's pushed away.
Oh, really?
I think, I'm not sure. Continued.
100% correct, John. We have zero risk of electrical blackout. Grids we utilize has more than enough space to conduct any power source. People should be knowledgeable before than just spouting off incorrect facts. Water does have an effect on us when it is returned to a sewer system that is at capacity. Thank you, Texter.
Back to you guys. Mr. Bahou is here.
Hello.
Good morning.
I think his mic's dead, but
If I could,
Okay, I'm sure.
I thought I was going to be done, but I do have one more for Mr.
Freddie, give me
Reading
give me
Ulysses
that
or
one.
whatever. I need a literature degree to parse through that text. That guy needs to learn how to write. But the other piece is if you look at historic, the easiest one, because the water utility is the city and electric is not, so it was easiest to get the water numbers. If you look at historic use for that site, and if we take water as corresponding to a level of industry, then even when Markley first went in, and when what the council had originally approved and what that site looked like for the first 5 years the place was in operation, it's significantly different than what it looks like today. You're talking, and I'll pull up the email when we go on break, but it was like, maybe 20% or so, 25% of the water that they're using now, that they were using in the first
Sure.
several years that they were there. But they grew, they've expanded incrementally, and when you read stories, when you read stories and policy nationally and what other municipalities are dealing with, because you can actually get outside Lowell, to the texter's point, is that this is what these companies do. This is what you do. You come in, you go, oh, we'll just do 5 more generate, and you don't look at the cumulative impact of what's been brought in, and then you look up and you go, oh, well, now I got 27 generators. I'm using 105,000 gallons of water a day, and there's no signs of stopping, and there's no signs of slowing, and and when we say, hey, let's work, let's come up with something. No. Okay, why don't you meet with the sustainability director, Catherine Moses, before you come for our next permit? We want to talk about these things. Sustainability director, have they met with you? No. Oh. But it's Councilor McDonough. What have you done to bridge the gap? Jeff Markley is an arrogant boopity-boopity-bop, okay? And that company has no intention. That company has no intention of working with anybody in the city of Lowell to do anything for the city of Lowell other than a $25,000 donation here and there to try and buy goodwill. And if that's your idea of a good neighbor, then good luck to you.
Now, when it comes to data centers or data centers, whatever you want to call it, that's all you hear when you're on the school committee, like Fred. Fred, by the way, good morning.
Welcome, Fred Bahou.
Good morning.
Yeah, but they always said to me, everything was, read the data on this and the data on that. And how I feel about life in the future, which I don't know, I just worry about my 5 grandchildren. What does that place do positive? Well, I'm just saying, what are they doing in that huge, unbelievable sized building? It has to be important. And this is how this old timer's thinking. The future is pretty good. They're going to be able to keep us alive, I'm telling you. Me and you can eat all the pork we want.
I hope so.
They're going to be able to keep you alive a lot longer.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that has
reduce
any.
my electric bill? That's
No,
the
my
key.
question is, what does that? I knew what Prince Macaroni did when it was here. It made macaroni so I could steal it out of the back of their trucks. We had a beautiful time. No, I'm serious.
We always had a lot of macaroni.
We ate macaroni probably 2 or 3 times a week. Prince was something special in my eyes, but
My brother worked
Things
there
happen.
for 35 years, and that was.
My dad worked
Yeah.
there for over 30 years too.
Well, and they're going
They
to tell
probably knew
you,
each other.
And they employed the city.
and they
Yeah.
employ people.
And that's the big deal.
Yeah.
How many people is Markley?
100% a political issue. This is a socialist push. I don't know about socialist push, but I am a politician, right? Like, I'm on the city council. It's a political body. I think everything we do is a political push. Fixing a pothole is a political push. So where is the inspection services for the city? Who's policing over at Markley for the residents? That, Jay, is one of the biggest questions that I think we have.
We should ask
That's
Tom.
the question.
Tom might have an answer for that. Should the health department maybe play a part of this, Tom?
That's why I asked him about the noise ordinance. In Drake, we had a noise ordinance, and the Board of Health enforced it. And it all came about when this trucking firm came into the town, and trucks were coming in and out during the middle of the night, and it was disturbing the neighbors. And we got together and wrote a noise ordinance, and that went away. I mean, the trucking firm had to abide by it. So, there's issues with the Board of Health. There's issues probably with DEP, Department of Environmental Protection down out of Woburn, is the State Health Department. It's just a massive undertaking, this building. It sounds like, and it's like, you go by there, it's like the White House. You can't get in it, right? It's so much security, so, yeah, you're right, Bob. There should be multiple agencies involved with this,
And the thing about Markley, realistically, they're smart. They're one step ahead. They're 3 steps ahead. And, you can have your 360-day moratorium, and, you can have the discussion, and the neighbors can come in and say they're a bad neighbor and all of this. It's nothing that they weren't prepared for. And that is, truthfully, the crux of the matter. Because they're just doing, truthfully, what they want.
What they want.
And they feel like they can. They're lawyered up. How much are they worth?
A lot.
A lot. You can measure it truthfully
it's a
in
lot.
billions.
It's a lot.
Come on. That's why they're one step ahead.
And I think all I was trying to say at the start of the show here is actually pretty much exactly that, Freddie, is they are well-funded, well-prepared, and a step ahead. And I think clearly don't have an intention of trying to work with someone who a body, the city here, or the neighbors as, people who they see as beneath them. It's less funded, it's less prepared, it's less
Right.
whatever. And so, we can continue to kind of chase after and grab at the ankles of their pants and say, please, please, please let us help, let us just a little bit like this. Or we can, I guess, do a gut check and figure out what it is we need to do to actually get these people to the table. I would have thought a moratorium would have got these people to the table, but it didn't.
I don't think Markley is in your district, correct? It's on the outskirts.
It's on the line, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Kim's district, but
Yeah, well, Kim and yourself done a great job so far, especially standing up to Markley.
Oh yeah, it's her baby,
Thank you. Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean, McDonough, one comma after McDonough. Your comment about Mr. Markley being arrogant, pot, meat, kettle.
Yeah, listen,
Oh man,
you are.
Ah.
Yeah,
You tell me.
When's your next fundraiser? Let me tell you, Sean McDonough, Councilor McDonough, you better start raising money.
I don't believe you're going to need a dime, to be honest with you.
no.
Data centers store all your daily activities through your digital footprint. They will eventually use all the stored information to control you, Bart.
I like Bart.
Yeah.
This is the dichotomy of
Thank
this
you,
comment
Bart.
section is killing
Bart
me.
is the best.
I got half the comments are like, "Let's go," and the other half, I gotta look both ways before I cross the street.
Don't you guys talk about anything funny?
This is fun, even
Yeah,
though
to
the
me,
garbage
it's the
trucks.
best.
Even
Yes,
though the
that's
garbage trucks are not
absolutely
allowed
true.
to pick up before a certain time, I see a large amount of trucks out before the allowed time, to Tom's point on the noise. Well, let's actually quickly, Tom, if I could, on the socialist trash truck agenda, is that they are out too early. I was woken up again at 5 o'clock in the morning by my dumpster truck. For those who regularly watch the show, you'll know that I do say this almost every Tuesday. And in the city of Lowell, ordinance is 7 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah.
so stop. Shouldn't you call the police right away and say,
That
even
seems
if
like
you're not
such a
council-
waste of resource. I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if everybody says that, nothing's going to happen.
The police is sleeping
Well,
at
they-
that time.
I don't
Why
know
are
that
you
the police
calling
are going to
them?
show
Yeah,
up.
They're going to be.
Okay, so there's a
they're
guy
gonna be-
dumping trash. He'll
Yeah,
be
it's
gone in
not-
5
yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So let's
That, well, and
move
that's
on.
the thing.
One at a
Am I
time.
supposed to chase him?
Mr. Host. Hello, Mr. Host.
Yes.
One at a time.
Sorry, one at a time.
Bobby's right.
Can I say something, please? Because someone made a comment about the police sleeping. The 11 to 7, well, let me say, I doubt I owned a bottle with my dad for about 8 years. The 11 to 7 shift, the late nights, there's not that many policemen in the city of Lowell. And at that time, we had close to 70 or 80 bar rooms that were sucker-shotting people and hitting people over the head with bottles. That shift is unbelievable. So don't, when you say they were sleeping, watch out with me, because I think that's the most important shift, and they never had the right amount of help.
Right.
They don't on that shift. So thank you for
If
letting me
these
say that.
trash trucks are allowed to keep doing this, they're not going to stop.
Well,
Hey, guys,
so we
let
get
me
away
just
with
tell
it.
you something about the trash guys, okay? It's going to be 100 degrees today. I don't blame them for wanting to start at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't. Summertime, guys should relax a little bit, be as quiet as you possibly can, but we're going to let you start picking up the dumpsters at 3 a.m. Because who wants to go? You want to go to the dump this afternoon at 2 o'clock? I don't think anybody does.
But John, the issue is that in December it's at 5 a.m. and in February it's at 5 a.m. and in June it's at 5 a.m. So it's difficult then to say, right now looking at the pattern of behavior, it's difficult to look and say, oh, well, it's going to be really hot today, which is true. And if that were the case and it were a one-time thing, I'd be a little bit more sympathetic. But
Well, I'm sympathetic to them today. We have a dumpster guy, and you cannot hear, unless we have a lot of furniture in the dumpster, you can't hear him dump the dumpster. The guy next door, he picks up his 10-yard bin and shakes the daylights out of it.
that's what I get.
And the guy has just got to stop doing that. There's a gentle way to do it.
Sean, like Drake, they now picked up the public until 7 o'clock. Is that Lowell's thing? Meaning the curbside
The
pickup?
private stuff, it's covered in the noise ordinance
Yeah.
as well. And the city, the city does enforce it when they can. And I've talked to the assistant city manager about this. And so what I'll normally do is if I see it, you hear it, and then if I'm coming up here and I see the trash truck leaving after having shook the dumpster silly. You just grab it's always the same trash company. I send it over to Sean, and then they fine, or the city does what they're gonna do with that. But
And my guess.
and residents send it to me. I get a lot of them because downtown has so many condo and apartment buildings that have a dump. Depending on where you are, I get a decent number of trash truck pictures sent to me with timestamps, and
Sure.
it's like, here you go, here you go, here you go. It's nothing on 311 to report it, so it's me.
Yeah.
Right. And my guess is the communication with the trash companies is sort of limited. They don't call back and say,
Right.
hey, we will try
Right.
to quiet that down because they've been fined, or they've got to essentially conduct their business.
Right. And on the political push, it's really important to me politically because, for everyone I annoy with the Markley thing, get another 4 votes from the trash trucks that people are sending in on the neighborhood complaint. I don't have as many potholes.
I think
It was a joke. I'm sorry. It was all a joke. It was all a
Potholes have
joke.
been,
Yeah.
taken care of. They do a
Yeah.
great job with the top potholes.
That was a joke.
someone rented out the park that Stratham Field where I live, and I know over in Centerville they had a lot of action going on in the weekend. And I didn't see your picture there for the dunk tanks. I wish I did, because a lot of people would come to throw the ball at you at the screen.
I think so.
I think, and then
I think Markley would spend $10,000 on that.
Well, I think my next fundraiser I'm gonna throw. Maybe I'll do it at a certain establishment downtown, and I think we can guess where it would be, and then we'll just let them throw, spanakopita at me or whatever. At least get right at it.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I say this, in my lifetime, for only having 7 or 8 months inside the city council, you're doing a bang-up job, and I'll say it to you until I don't think you are. So don't worry about how you're hurting people and they're writing these messages. Oh, man, I'll tell you.
It's fun.
I come from a day when we called each other a lot of names. It was bombs, you want to call it? A lot of bombs. Right now, the city council, to me, our city's going to be roughly, in about 5 years, between 150 and 180,000 people. They're building everywhere. And the condo king, I don't know if you guys are sharp when it comes to who builds the most, hasn't done much in the last year or two. Owns a lot of property over near the Lowell connector. Look at that garbage that's being built right now on Gorham Street across from the Enterprise Bank. I think that's Keene Street, I'm not sure, right across.
South Highland.
All right. Unbelievable, the size of that building. In downtown, I go down there a lot. It's unbelievable how much growth we have going.
It's the city council's allowing that to happen.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, this house is going up everywhere.
I do find it comical that C. McDonough's calling anyone arrogant. Enjoy the rest of your only term. I shall.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Fried scallops, fried shrimp, fried clams. What's the panel's favorite on a seafood platter? On my last day in office, I will be going with the fried clams. Scallops are better, bake the scallops with butter and crackers and stuff. Fry the clams. Shrimp should not be fried.
Yes.
Anybody else want to chime in on the food?
Fried clams.
I like fried clams. Yeah, let's go. Where can we get good fried clams right now? Let's.
You know,
At the beach.
I
Captain
never.
John's. Captain
Hey,
John's.
I'll be 72
yeah.
in
Not as
I'll
good
be
as the beach.
72 in October. I never had a lobster, a scallop, a clam, or shrimp.
I noticed they didn't put tilapia on that.
White
list.
haddock only,
Wow.
Also,
and I
you get
know they
good
fooled me.
Good seafood up the deli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leaners in Seabrook.
Yeah.
Lena's. Oh yeah. I know.
I
I was just
excited.
told about this place in Ipswich, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but they say it. I'm told by 2 or 3 people it's out of this world.
The clam box.
No, I know that place.
Mhm.
Choate, is there a name?
Burnham's.
Choate? Is there a
Farnham's.
Okay, Farnham's.
Choate? Yeah, I don't know.
Choate, not Ipswich, yeah.
Yeah, the
See this,
clam company.
Fred, this usually happens when my friend is the host, okay? 45 minutes.
I love it.
I
People
know.
just,
Sorry.
people just
You
come
know
in.
They
and
just come
text
in.
it.
It's what we
They
do.
love it.
Yeah.
They love the
Dawn-
Tuesday show.
The Dawn.
So
This is a ratings buster.
It is a ratings buster. I do want to, you know what? I get a response. So to the texter, maybe it's the same texter with the comma problems and all the syntax errors and that screed at the beginning. But
Hold that thought. I'm going to help Tommy out here.
oh no,
This is Ipswich.
Oh, here we go.
Which one do you think it is, Tom?
Choke Bridge Pub.
There it is.
There it is.
Bridge, yeah.
Third one. They've
I've
heard
about
it's
that
out of this
place.
world.
Choke
Yeah.
Bridge
But can we
Pub.
find out like who from the 17 people running for Congress in the 6th district? We should get can we get an opinion from all them on who the best clams are?
No,
Right.
you won't get an opinion from any of them.
I want to know. Yeah, all 17 of them. I want to know.
But no, they say
They're all
how
gonna
great.
lose.
17 are running for what? What seat?
They'll
Don't
always,
have an opinion.
No,
on
they do
that.
not have an opinion.
Don't have an opinion.
Do
on
not
that.
have an opinion.
What's-
They're all amazing.
they talk
They're
about
sick.
Captain John's, and it is good, but it still doesn't beat the beach. Beach is
No, you got to go to the beach.
Yeah.
All seafood tastes
It's a little
better
different. It's a
with-
little
You need a
different,
little
yeah.
bit of a sunburn, and you got to have a little bit of ocean salt in your mouth, and seafood tastes better. You know,
Yeah.
if your arms aren't a little sore from the sun, the seafood
Right.
don't taste as good.
But they do a great job at Kimball's.
They do.
Right? Captain John's is wonderful.
Well, they had
Yeah.
Kimball's is actually very
Kimball's
good.
is pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go to Kimbo's.
Captain John's is good.
Someplace that's local.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring your
let's
wallet,
go.
'cause if you've got your
Hey,
silver-
Hey,
One at a time.
time.
I'm a bad host.
No, you're not, you're doing okay.
Next thing, I'm gonna give you a stick. If you don't hold the stick, you can't talk.
So how about ending it with one more thing? What's happening tonight at the city council? We could talk to Fred in the next hour quite a bit. I know what I'm gonna talk to Fred about, but, and you
Well,
know.
I got a kick out of this thing here, Bobby. Now,
What?
last
I can
week,
leave at 7.
last
Oh.
week,
you just
gave
it, okay.
I gave Sean this text last week from the audience.
Did you read this?
And no one, he called the city manager doesn't want to call him back. So, what does that say?
That says the city manager doesn't want to call you back. Please, John.
No,
If
no,
I was
him.
this-
No,
oh,
no, no.
what?
I just don't. I've talked to the city manager. I talked to the city manager about the Markley thing. He calls me back. I think
But why didn't we have an
I
answer
am
for
not.
this? Did we give all the employees an extra holiday? 6 extra holidays? Why can't, and is City Hall closed all day Friday? No one,
Well, let's see.
You tell you this coming Friday?
day-to-day operations are not my purview. That's all. I don't. That's not me.
so would you find out an answer to this? Is this truthful or not?
I will.
Did he give away 6 holidays?
I will get you an answer.
Thank you,
I will get you an answer.
appreciate it.
Then I'll pipe in for a second about that. I know that the school department is open on Fridays, so,
Right.
before we sort of
Right.
start talking about the school department, right, we're running summer school, our offices are open, we're always, doing the administrative
Do they go home at
work.
noontime?
They do not go home at noontime, no.
Drake closes noontime on Fridays, I believe, yeah.
Drake and school
Town hall.
department
But they
does?
stay open later on Tuesdays.
Drake School Department does?
Drake, well, I don't know about Drake.
Well, Freddie's talking about school department.
Yeah. I think they might be closing, I don't want to be 100% sure, but I think they close at noontime on Fridays too.
When
meaning that Drake
administration,
and school
when
department.
administration was across the street here, summertime, the parking lot was empty. It was like vacation all day, all summertime. I couldn't believe how many people who work in administration just don't go to work in the summer.
Are you referring to the school department?
Yes.
Yeah, no, they go to work.
Yeah, they take all my
Freddie?
parking spots.
They're there.
Freddie, they don't.
Okay.
Well, then why can't I
that's
park
up
in my
to you
parking
to
garage?
Say, but I did speak to
Yeah.
HR, and they're there.
Did you walk through the building?
I'll walk through the building some Friday.
all right.
And I will
Someday-
let you know before I come back for my next visit.
Hey, one at a time.
One
One
at
at
a
a time.
time.
All right, producer? One
It's
at
gonna be
a
the Freddie
time.
Bahou show.
But,
Just
but,
Freddie and-
and all I'm going to say is, if in Drake, I told you, the town hall stays open later on Tuesdays to close at noontime on Friday.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I don't know if the school department.
Tommy, truth behold, are they skeleton crew?
Nope, full boat.
Boy, oh boy, you love your town.
Well, Hannah,
Can we
know?
get
He doesn't even know. He's over there
Love
asking
your
questions.
town.
I just want a bus for us to go to the beach after the show, next Tuesday.
I just
Senior
don't know why
center.
poor,
I like it. We're gonna have a beach day.
Yes,
The City
let's
Life
go.
Beach Day.
poor
Yeah.
Cisco didn't get the
Fuck you with
memo
the
on
beach
some
show.
of
We're
some
doing a little
address.
show from Hampton Beach.
Live remote.
Live from Hampton.
Live
We'll
remote.
go to John's
Yeah,
house.
I will buy all the equipment
time.
so we can do it.
See, someone said senior center. My ears perked up. John, did you say senior center?
What is new?
Yeah,
at
if you want to go to
senior
the beach, they have a bus that goes to Senior Center once
Oh,
a
they
week.
do. They do.
center? What's new in the senior center?
Secret squirrel meetings.
Secret squirrel meetings.
The police with the fire chief's retirement, I heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
In September.
Tommy can hire another one of his friends.
Didn't get anywhere in the civil service thing.
Tommy can hire another one of
I
his
did think it was
friends.
funny, and I usually like the reporting in the Sun, but I did find it interesting that there's been this talk around, the return to civil service somehow being outside the purview of the council was like in the pundit sphere for a minute, and that confused me on account of how it's a legislative policy of whether you use civil service or not. So if Kevin Murphy had to go through the council to get rid of civil service, then the council is absolutely 100%. The vote was the vote. That's the process and how it works, and you win some and you lose some. But it's laughable, the kinds of things that people who comment on politics in the city will say is not the purview of the council. It is.
Civil service, you can't fire anybody. Civil service. It's very difficult. But leave it alone. If the guy is not pushing excellence out the door, or the union hates his guts, he's got to go. I say he because we haven't had a woman fire chief yet, but.
I've heard some. So one of the things that motivates me, and I would have gone for the whole thing on the civil service. One of the things that motivates me on the civil service piece is that talking actually to several business owners over the last week who have establishments that may have been the target of some council ire. Is that there can be a feeling that because some people have certain last names, and whether they do, and I'm not speaking to the fact of it, right, whether it's true or not, but one of the things that civil service does help with is to remove that perception. So you're not being targeted because, that one is so-and-so's cousin, and I think that he's going to get this favor, and I'm not, and so I'm going to go and find your friend, and now I'm going to do... It removes, whether it's true or not true, because now someone's going to say, McDonough's saying... No, I'm not. I'm not saying that's factually happening. I'm saying that...
It does factually happen. You're a kid. You drop a name...
Yeah.
Tommy Golden's my brother-in-law. Oh, you come to the front of the line.
Right, and
get you a chair.
But that perception is not unique to the current moment. And all I'm saying is whether it is true or untrue, the perception is there. And this wasn't from in the last week. Now, this is not me. This is from people who own businesses downtown, and this isn't with the fire department. This is with the police department, who are saying, well, we're having this issue, and part of it is this. We think it's because there's these two, and they're jockeying over this political position for this because they want that job and this job and who job.
How are you guys going to pick the fire chief?
We don't.
Who does?
The city manager.
So I would ask the fire chief to come to a city council meeting and say, who do you recommend, sir? Because the fire service we're getting in Lowell is exquisite.
Are we gonna do a rerun of Douglas MacArthur's greatest hits? We're gonna do the farewell tour.
No, I don't want to have the
you imagine?
Sean, I have a question. Sean, when I just go back a little bit.
Hold it for 1 second, Tommy. We're backing up on text here.
Why doesn't the condo association call the private trash company that picks up your trash and tell them don't come until 7? It's not our trash. One of the problems downtown is that we have, I think, 5 or 6 different trash companies that pick up for all the various buildings, and so you finally get Republic to listen, and then you get Wynn that acts up, and then Wynn starts listening and Republic acts up, or then it's Waste Management, or the red one. There's the red one. Yeah. I had great fried clams at Ray's and Rye 2 weeks ago. Delish.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
I want to go back to what you said about what was a question about the condo association. Maybe if these condo associations started getting fined.
Yeah.
They're the ones that hire these companies.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Now I want to go, Marty.
While we're on that, Tommy, we screw the condo associations in Lowell. We charge them for trash pickup, and we don't pick up their trash. How's that?
Do we charge them for trash pickup?
We don't charge them for
trash.
Oh, yes,
in taxes you do.
In taxes, yeah. And so now that there's the enterprise fund, it should be less, but where trash pickup for years has been subsidized by the general, it's been paid by the general fund. There wasn't a separate. There was a fee for trash, but the trash service itself was just a tax item, and the fee was an offset.
Like our energy bill, the city should negotiate with these dumpster companies and get a wonderful rate for these condo companies, for these condos. If the condos want to go with the wonderful rate, great. Or go get your own dumpster.
Yeah, and I've talked about that, and I've been told that we're working on something there.
We're working on that.
Yeah, but that's all I can say is that they said that. Yeah.
So Bonnie Laurie said here last December, before the new council took place, that he thought the vote would change on the council, meaning that it wouldn't be as shifted as it is. I haven't seen that, have you? Meaning, it seems like Belinda's fallen in line with the others. You're seeing more independence?
I think
But you couldn't even get your motion, did you get a second?
No, on the civil service?
Yeah.
It was
They did
four
get a second.
votes yes.
Okay.
4 votes yes, 7 no's. And
Were any of the 7 no's any of the new councilors?
yes,
Yeah.
but they were wishy-washy no's. It was
Yeah.
it was less. I took that as less of a no on ever talking about it, and at least what was said on the floor, it sounded more like a no. Like this is a very quick change to change a hiring policy in July with a vacancy in September. That's a tough ask.
They weren't prepared for it. Is that what it sounds like?
Ooh, right. Yeah, and it was a vote no because I want more. Yeah. That is more how I took. I didn't take that as like a rebuke of the idea of civil service as much as.
Sure. Let's look at it globally.
And I actually was a little sympathetic to that at the end.
My John Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
District
I made it.
4 is a complete circus. No one wants that district. It covers downtown, Centerville, Pawtuckaville, South Lowell, Back Central, even Sakari Chow won't run for that seat. Bart, thank you for that.
But I like that
But,
one.
hey, you know, I come from that district, right next to Cavaleros. I think that's still your district.
It is not. No, you have Kim.
It's not.
Yeah.
Lawrence and Watson. I don't live there right now. That's where I was brought up. And to me,
Well, he's Belvederian.
yeah, I'm in District 3.
A Belvederian?
District 3, that's all I'll say. But in my lifetime, I mean, there's nothing better to talk about on this show is your district, is the Portuguese people. And most of them, I have to say, have moved out. You know, bought houses like everybody else, white flight, Portuguese people, just like Indian people.
Tewksbury, Chesford, Drake, plenty of land. They can
It just
have a nice
changes,
break.
and your district, to me, oh yeah, it's definitely, I wouldn't call it a circus, but you probably have on a monthly basis 15 or 20 car break-ins, stealing this and stealing that. It's a tough district. And you got elected for that district, and hopefully you just keep fighting for that district like you are.
I enjoy. To the arrogant Councilor McDonough comment in my only term, I am excited. I'm really looking forward to that. I liked campaigning.
Yeah, good
I
for-
did. I burned through a
Good.
pair of shoes. Bring it on. Let's go.
Yeah, I asked Freddie, who was district council, was it John Dakota? I had suggested, I think last week or the week before, that maybe if Sakawi run the state rep seat, you could run for his seat, but I thought you were in his district.
Oh, yeah, thank you. But I don't think that I want to be on the city council.
No.
I just think there's a lot going on there, and I'm very happy with the schools, and I've always been happy with the
You
schools.
will run for re-election, but, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
We won't let them live
Don't let
in
these
Lowell if
people-
you don't.
Well, I don't know
It's
about
fine.
regional school if Freddie's going to run for regional school.
No,
Yeah,
Fred's-
I was here, about a month ago, and I
He's
announced
not.
that I will
Yeah.
not be.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I've done my time there, and it's been a great period.
You know what Bart wrote in about Sakari Chow? That's funny because I haven't worked for Tara Hong, but I do want the kid to win. I do. He's young. He might have made a mistake or two. I don't know. I haven't followed him that much, but I do like him. I like him.
Well, he's in line with the leadership down there, so.
Well, I don't know if he is.
Everyone
Good.
is.
I don't know if he is, but hopefully he can bring home some
I mean,
bacon.
there aren't too many,
Just look at the
We
post.
are coming up on
Oh.
break in about 20 seconds. So
Yeah,
we'll be back.
We can go to break now. You guys
All
can
right.
make your
you
coffee.
did a
We'll
good,
be back.
nice hour, buddy. That's why when we leave the show, we're all
Good morning and welcome back, or welcome to the second hour. We're on TV. It's City Life. I am Sean McDonough. They let me host today. I'm a city councilor in Lowell. I got Bob Hoey, Cisco Maldonado, Tommy Bomil, and Fred Bahou. And while we were on break, we got breaking news from Drake.
This is Drake. John Zimmeny's website. Seems like Assistant Town Manager / Finance Director Kathleen Foster has left. She is no longer on the town's online staff. Comments being made by Phil Tebow. Unfortunately, I thought she was working well for the town. The town engineers also moved on. So I don't know what's going on, because this girl was just out on, I know, maternity leave, and they said she was coming back, and now she's gone. So, but that's what we keep hearing in Drake. There's like the revolving door. People are leaving left and right, and this girl, I'm shocked in a way, because she was pretty smart financially.
Well, I hope her baby's okay.
Yeah.
Could be motherly duties.
That's true.
Motherly duties supersede work.
Well, it's not healthy for the administration when you have your assistant city managers,
Yeah.
constantly rolling in and
Yeah.
out. It's something that, you need to go ahead and, be supportive to them, and they need to feel like they're supported by the city as well. This whole school thing that's going on has completely blown the city of, or the town of Drake right up.
Yeah.
Which is, unfortunate, because, it just seems like it wasn't handled correctly by any side of it, whether it's the school committee, the selectmen, the town manager, the bloggers, the people that run the website. The whole thing just blew up in everybody's face. And it's too bad, because it doesn't cast a good light on Drake.
And someone tried to find something on Shepherd. Is he on the school committee, Tom?
Yeah.
Donating like $1,900 to the cause.
Sure.
On a certain way to
I don't
vote,
even know
yes
if
or
that's
no.
legal or illegal. I don't even know about
Yeah,
that stuff. So,
but what I didn't like is in the same, his name is Janess there?
Brian Janess.
Brian Janess, starting that off by saying John Zimmeny's a dummy. Believe me, John Zimmeny's not a dummy.
Well, but I think the whole Shepherd thing started with the Valley Patriot, I think. An article was in the by Brian Janess. That's how that whole thing started.
Yeah, so they threw a comment in there
And
about...
I guess now there's suits being talked about, and Tommy Duggan saying, bring it on, sue us, so.
There was
We could use a little bit of that attitude in the city of Lowell, I think.
There was a
Isn't
negative...
that what Marpley's doing?
Well, that's what. No. I'm saying the city of Lowell could use the position of, instead of just when someone says we're going to sue you, going, oh, okay, we don't want it. Every now and then you say, all right,
Sure, let's bring it on.
you sure?
I get it.
Let's go.
They threw
Bobby
a
has
neg-
some questions.
They
Yeah.
threw a negative comment in there about Nancy Donahue donating $20,000 to the issue of where the high school is going to be built. And to me, when you throw out a person's name like hers in a negative way, she's done too many positive things. She's going to make maybe mistakes. I'm not saying that was a mistake, but I never got a flyer off her. I was a downtown voter, along with the mayor at the time, Ed Kennedy. It was a lot of pressure on you, on them votes. And you got to give it. So let me get to Fred just for a second,
Yes.
okay? Fred, when he's sitting in the seat as the host, I enjoy it because I know in the back of my mind, he's an special education teacher. And I seen my neighbor just yesterday coming out of the back of the Pine School, and she got a daughter a job in the summer that she goes to Wentworth, her daughter, Wentworth. I almost had my granddaughter in there too, but we didn't have that kind of dough. Unbelievable. But anyways, special ed, Fred, without a doubt, I know it's the biggest part of your budget. I am telling you, the way Lowell is and the type of students you have, we're not putting enough in that. Imagine that. I know when you guys bought the school in Pawtuckaville, John Dark, I believe, right, the name? That is an issue that's going to help us, but you filled it. That school's almost all full, right, with kids?
Well,
So, go ahead,
it
Fred.
hasn't been occupied yet. We're
Oh, okay.
still working on that. We've got one more year at the 80-day school in Chelmsford.
Yeah.
And this school, the St. Jean Dark School, is 4 times the size of the 80-day school. So we're hoping that we will go ahead and be able to sort of bolster our special ed department. Alice Brown LeGrand, who runs our special ed department, used to work at the Laura Lee School. Now she's our special ed
She's your assistant
director. She's our
superintendent
assistant
for-
superintendent
yeah.
of special education and
Sula.
student services,
Yeah.
student support services, but she does amazing work. And our special ed department, this is the problem. The problem is there's not enough money to go around.
There you go.
And we wish that we had enough money. On a podcast yesterday in the city of Lowell, there was a big rant about, how students have to go to the Perkins School of the Blind and how they need to go to Melmark and how they have certain IEPs. And, there's too much funding going
What's the
into
IEP?
individual
Education program.
education plan, individualized education plan. So,
And my-
it's based on the way that I learned, but they, in the city, can't meet that IEP. So unfortunately, the city of Lowell, the school department, is spending $10 million on sending kids to schools with certain IEPs. Well, let's be real, that's a certain percentage of our budget. About 3% of our budget that, we can't have back. And that's all special education, and that's only for 70 kids. Well, we got 15,000 kids in the district.
And
We're
that's what-
spending 3%.
And
What's
that's
the
what the
top
school
for the-
committee has done over the years. They forgot people like myself and the other 1,000 kids at Lowell High that couldn't read. You just let us go by the 3rd grade to the 4th and continue on, and you can't read. How are we ever going to get the best test scores around? Another great idea, and I learned this stuff off Evelyn Thorin, really. Chensit, 5th and 6th grade is separated from the 7th and 8th. They say to me, oh, you can't do that in Lowell. Why? We have many buses. We have all the buses you want. I'm sorry, you do. You got buses that can bring these kids anywhere. And 5th and 6th separation would be a great idea. John McDonough, teach them how to use a bank and finances. I know all those things, but Fred, to me, and I've been watching, nobody has done a better job on the school committee than you.
Can
I
you?
don't, I don't know if I
Period.
agree
No,
with
I'm
that,
tell-
but,
well,
you know.
you don't have to agree with it. I'm telling you how I
Well,
feel.
Bobby, a new thing I want to talk about is the importance of families. 41% of the childbirths today are to single mothers.
Yeah.
That is way, way, and I could say it until 5 o'clock today, too high.
Yeah,
Single
this-
motherhood is an anchor around that woman's neck for the rest of her life.
John, and not to criticize what you're saying or debate it, but in my lifetime, I've seen more and more men bringing their kids to school, picking their kids up. I see it. I see a lot of men involved, more than ever. I believe you're right. I'm from a divorced family. I lived in Shaughnessy Terrace. I've been through the mill. And a lot of kids at Lowell, I'm telling you, Lowell High School. To me, you don't need much work on your elementary, okay? Not much. Middle school is where your big issues are. In the high school, they got to change the place. They have to. It's like, to me, there's your circus.
I think-
Go ahead.
I-
Go ahead.
Just on Freddie's point earlier about the 70 kids and the $10 million bucks, I think this is something. This is something that you guys are stuck right? So the Lowell School Committee is stuck.
We have to spend that money.
You have to spend the money.
Right. We're also stuck on the transportation for a lot of the homeless children as well.
On the out-of-district placements, so Desi does track, and I'm sure this is more for anyone still watching at home than it is for you, Freddie, but Desi tracks and evaluates a school district and the special education department within the school district on a whole number of metrics. One of those metrics is the percent of students that are in and out of district placement, and they track that, and you can compare every school district in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You can compare and see what's their percentage look like. The thing that is difficult for Lowell, cities like Lowell, is that there's also research data that would indicate that cities with higher poverty rates have a higher concentration of students with disabilities, and that of those students with disabilities, there's a higher amount of need. Part of that, whether that's a causation or correlation or however you want, okay, but it's true. The numbers are there. Another contributor, I think, to those numbers is how expensive it is for a family if you have a child with a significant disability. They are really not cheap. Even with good health insurance, they're not cheap. And so you wind up needing to live in a more affordable place if you're going to be able to pay for the kinds of care that your kid needs, which means if you're deciding between, Chelmsford and Lowell, you're probably going to wind up in Lowell. You can have more money left in the bank to deal with and to pay for the rest of the things your kid needs. All that to say, Lowell winds up, statistically, or Lowell, just in gross number and in percentage, Lowell winds up with far more as a percentage and as a gross number, because we're big, students that require out-of-district placements and really expensive educations. And there is some money, right? Like, we do get money from the state for that, and some of the money we get from the state is tied to the level of need of some of our students. But I don't think it is weighted enough on looking at these out-of-district placements and what a shot it is to a municipal budget. And you're talking about predominantly gateway city school districts that are getting clobbered with the out-of-district funds.
And it's nowhere near enough.
Right.
Because don't forget, I mean, to teach a student that's in the city of Lowell, it costs about $20,000 per student. Well, if we're sending a student, to a specialized school, it's costing somewhere $200,000, $100,000. Collaboratives are $100,000. Landmarks about $140,000, and some of these advanced ones are close to $300,000. $250,000 is the norm.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. And the state says, "Listen, Lowell, we're going to look at what you have, but you guys need to cover the first $50,000 of it."
Correct.
So what we were supposedly spending $20,000 on, we know we're going to spend at least $50,000 on. Never mind the transportation. So ultimately, we are sort of holding the bag, and it's not good. However, in the grand scheme of things, St. Jean d'Arc School is, again, close to 4 times the size of the 80-day school. We are looking to go ahead and expand that facility and bring some of those IEPs, some of those individual education plans that we can't offer students today because of our limited space over in Chelmsford, to that St. Jean d'Arc School, which will be called the Sapasara School. At that point, we may be able to rein in what we can go ahead and offer students, so that we will not be sending as many students out to these, specialized programs.
Right.
What's
So
the
that's
target
our
date
goal.
for that opening?
Next September.
And then
now, just one final. Did you get the convent too, or just the school?
We got it all. We got the school and the convent, and we're currently using the convent for super high need students.
Okay.
The other thing, sorry, that I was going to offer here as a way that I've seen some districts reduce costs, and research would say student outcomes, is to try and reduce the number of students that you have in substantially separate programs at every level, to increase the amount of time per day that students are engaged in some kind of meaningful inclusion program. And there are staffing needs that come with that, and this is where it becomes I guess it's where a big part of the problem politically and financially can come in, but it's I guess it's weighing, okay, what's X number more staff. If we hire X number more staff to support students at the school they're at, is that less money, I guess, right? Then $250,000 per kid's a whole lot of money, right?
And I guess we can get that kid back. Let's be real.
No, but it's
Right.
how do you try and what supports, and I'm sure, actually I know just kind of from having worked at the high school and then talking to Liam a couple months ago, I know it's something the district is looking at. I know it's something that other districts have gone through. I've worked in, I've had jobs. There was 1 year in Lowell, and there was a year at another district where probably 60% of my job was figuring out how do we reduce the amount of how not just throw them to the wind, but how do we
group them together
and then reduce the amount of time that they're in a substantially separate setting, because we know that the student outcome is better. It's better for the kid if they're able to do it meaningfully, and it is a lot cheaper. Right? It's a win-win if you're able to do it right. If you can't do it right, you're hurting.
You've got to work on doing it right.
It has to be, yeah.
And you talked about the K through 3 and the reading, right, Bob, a second ago. And we are doing something. We have an Ignite program that we've been working with for the past couple of years in the city of Lowell, and students through K through 3 that have that are not reading at the end of first grade level properly or at the end of third grade level properly. We're putting them in a 5-day-a-week program, which is they're working with a tutor, and they're working with a tutor online. So they're actually, talking to the tutor, and they're very excited to be with that tutor.
Yeah.
So we have really increased our kids that are able to read at that grade level in the past few years. This is proving to be extremely
I seen
effective.
you gave tutors a raise. I do. You have made some great progress in that department. Another question, how much money is owed to the city on delinquent property tax, and why hasn't it been collected?
I talked about this a couple weeks ago, I think, and I talked about it on the council floor during the budget hearing. I'm gonna blank on the total number. It's a substantial sum. I will pull it up next time Freddie's talking, because I can get the list. It's a good question. Part of the reason that the city says that collection efforts have been hindered was a Supreme Court rule that limited how much money could be recovered. It comes out to being that we can only recover what they owe us. So it used to be you went delinquent, we could take your property through, we could go through the proceeding, take your property, sell the property, we get all the money. Now that's wrong. I agree. We cannot take all your property, for a $500 water bill, but we can get the $500. There are some properties in the city of Lowell that owe upwards of $40,000 in taxes. I do think that if you were, and it's not my job, but if I were, my opinion is that there is a dollar value there that the city should establish that makes it worth it to go get the money through court. I can understand it not being...
With the same token, though, Sean, I'd like you guys to consider that when we do collect this revenue, it's used to reduce our taxes instead of Mr. Golding finding a new toy to buy.
That's also, it is also how the money is spent. We do need to, it's a lot of money, though. I'm going to pull it up now. It's such a big number, I want to make sure I nail it. I don't want to tell you, it's $10 million and then it's 15 or it's 8.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big number.
Sure, but unpaid taxes.
And unpaid taxes.
It's essentially real estate taxes.
It's unpaid tax, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, there were times when I ran the window shop, I was behind. Business was slow, I was behind, I wasn't able to pay my taxes. But I was getting alarming letters from the city. I would be behind by $10,000, which was an awful lot of money, especially for a guy raising 4 children and trying to, keep a business going. But I would get that letter, and the letter was, we are going to take your property. And I would then have to go to the bank and say, can I borrow money? They're like, Fred, we don't allow money to pay taxes, so you need to go ahead and come up with a different plan. So that was pretty alarming. So you've got to be careful to the people, as far as I'm concerned, that actually live in these properties, because ultimately they can face hardships, and it's important that we address those hardships. As a man that experienced it.
Yes, just looking, when you go through the list, my biggest problem is, and I've heard that, right, is you don't want to do that to people, but you also don't want, and it is online. If you Google anyone at home that wants to look at the list yourself, and that's probably the easiest way to do this. If you just Google Lowell tax title, you'll get a link to the tax title division. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see July 2026 short title detail report. You open that up, and you will get a very lovely spreadsheet that you can't see at home. That has every single property in the city of Lowell that owes us money.
Sure. And how much is delinquent overall? Is there a grand number at the bottom of it?
Principal due 4675797 and 10 cents.
That's $4,600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an awful lot.
Just on the principal. Yeah.
Sure.
That would solve a lot of problems.
That's a lot of problems.
Yeah, $4 million.
The
Yeah.
manager could get a new electric bike.
Hey, those are free.
Electric bikes?
No, I thought you were making a joke about my last motion tonight.
What's your last motion?
I got one. There's a company that got a grant, and Tommy actually probably knows about this as well because they're at the Gallagher terminal. It's, Metro Mobility is the company. They are doing a program through the State Department of Transportation. They partnered with the LRTA to, at no cost to us, the city, install. They got 2 of these round trip e-bike. They're pedal assist, which is important to note. There's no throttle. And they put one station at the Gallagher terminal. They've sent me probably 25 emails at this point. They outline all the business they're getting. They say they have not been losing bikes. They say they're making money off it. If they're saying they're making money off it and they're saying they're getting high use and that it's not being abused, that to me says, they want to put another one in and it doesn't cost the city any money. Who are we to? I mean, why not?
Do they have to wear a helmet?
I hope so.
Yeah, well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
Are there helmets with it? Because the
Right.
helmets, these things are they're rogue. The driver of these bikes,
Yeah.
and unfortunately with school being out and the parents buying these bicycles for their kids, these kids who are 12 years old and don't know anything about
Right.
rules of the road, they're, putting themselves in harm's way, putting a driver like me in harm's way.
So
I'm like driving down this 25-mile-an-hour speed limit is actually too high. With the way these bikes pop around.
Would you like me to chime into electrical bikes?
Sure,
and
please
what's going to
do.
happen with my years of being an accident reconstructionist, 10 years
Retired
experience.
police officer, sergeant.
Retired police officer, sergeant. We're putting our kids in harm's way. Just understand simple physics. If you're traveling 30 miles an hour and you hit something else that's traveling 30 miles an hour, you're going to have 60-mile-an-hour impact, or 25, whatever, 25, you hit something, 25, 50-mile impact. Those impact speeds usually end up in death, okay? Now, if you do that and you get tossed off a bike, torque goes into that number. Torque is very dangerous because there's one valve that does not like torque, and that's your aorta. So you'll end up with a chest full of blood in a medical exam.
Wow.
So if
what's
I could.
solution? What's the solution?
And this is a state problem, right? Actually, this is a national problem.
But what's the solution?
Wrong way drivers is the big issue right now.
I mean, I think, again, you're giving
I didn't hear it the first time.
children
Didn't hear it the first
motor vehicles,
What's the solution? You can repeat the problem don't repeat the problem anymore. We know the problem is. What's the solution?
You have to safeguard your children against using
Oh, what
vehicles.
a wonderful, fluffy word.
So
These kids have got to wear a goddamn helmet, okay? They got to wear a goddamn helmet.
They shouldn't be on electric bikes
We're
if they're not adults. How's that?
We're sending at least one kiddo to heaven every single year because he didn't wear a helmet. Broken-hearted mother, broken-hearted father, divorces. You bought him the bike. You shouldn't have bought him the bike. It's terrible.
Yeah, John,
They
the
gotta
bikes...
wear a goddamn helmet.
Yeah, well, the bikes of your time didn't have engines. They didn't go 30, 40 miles an hour. The helmet would help you. Today, those helmets will not help
Yeah,
you.
you need a motorcycle helmet if you're
Okay.
going 40 miles an
That's
hour.
correct.
All right.
Yeah, the bike helmet's not even enough.
But
That is correct.
just to dispel some of the insanity, not insanity. This is a real problem. But around this particular e-bike share thing, because every time anything comes up, there's a segment of the city that just they get all animated. These are pedal assist. There is no throttle. The vehicles have they have a max speed of 19 miles an hour, which is about as fast as you could get if you were in shape on a road bike. That's about how fast you could go. That's not doing the Tour de France, but that's, an in shape adult on a road bike on asphalt is able to go. When I was in shape 4 years ago, I could go 19, 20 miles an hour with no engine. These don't have a throttle. Requires an account and the credit card to sign up for it. It's a state-funded program that costs us nothing. And again, the company this is already. It's in Lawrence. They have several stations in Lawrence that they're saying are successful. They have a station in Cambridge, which is obviously a little different, but they're saying they're successful. They have these set up at a number of housing developments that they again are saying is successful. To me, if this was and they've been at Gallagher in Lowell, so it's already in operation in Lowell for I think 2 months now, and so we're not seeing these bright orange bikes. They're not in the canals. There's no one. The bikes that people are complaining about are these things that look, to Cisco's point, they look like motorcycles, but they have these little pretend pedals on the side of them, and they're a bicycle, even though it's a motorcycle. That's not what these are.
Cisco,
who
enforces? Who's supposed to be enforcing
helmet's
these
a good
kids have
question.
helmets on?
It's under Chapter 90, so it should be the police
Because I was
officers.
driving.
Okay, just, Sean, consider adding this to your motion, okay? This is the kind of helmet that's gotta go with that bike.
It's essentially a motorcycle.
Guess what?
Exactly.
Right.
Isn't an electric bike a motorcycle?
Well, they do have governors on them, which means the speed can be controlled.
If your
But sometimes
kiddo-
these people that buy them, will sort of enhance the governor to go a little faster.
And you tell the cops, if you see a kiddo riding a bike and he doesn't have one of these fancy helmets on, confiscate the bike.
Well, in my understanding is that what's going through the State House had to do with getting firmer definitions and guardrails and regulation in place on when the thing is an electric assist
It's
bike.
real easy, Vanner. It's called the Legal Baseline DOT FMVSS 218. That's all.
Right,
That's all you
no.
need to know, Vanner.
But what they're doing is trying to decide, because there is a difference between a pedal assist bike that can get you can be, out of shape and go the same speed as an in shape person on a bicycle, and that's all it's doing.
Sean,
right?
respectively,
Or I have a throttle and I crank it and go 30.
respectively, when you jump out of an airplane with a parachute, do you want one for a 300-pounder or one that's designed for a skinny guy like you? I'll take the 300-pound.
I wouldn't wear a motorcycle helmet to go 50. Like I'm gonna wear.
I got you, but there's got to be something.
I would
Okay.
wear
Because
if you're on a
ultimately-
motorcycle. You need to, if I was on because the same thing. So this is to your point. If the same vehicle, right? You took the pedal off and you put gas in the engine and you had a little moped like they sell at Extreme Toys. Instead of an electric bicycle, you need a motorcycle helmet. And if it can go over, I think it's over 30 miles an hour. I had one when I was in college. If it can go 30 miles an hour, you need to put a license plate on it. My understanding of what the state was doing is that that's all they're trying to do is to make it so that put pedals on it. You put pedals on it. I don't care. It still goes 30 miles an hour. It's still a moped. You still need a license plate. You still need the motorcycle helmet.
And you also need, rules of the road.
Correct.
You know,
your
you want-
vehicle.
Because
Your
let's
real
be real,
vehicle.
I love to
Yeah.
walk around the river. I have people on their e-bikes, whether they're 12 years old, 14 years old, or 54 years old. They're riding by me on that walkway,
Agreed.
and I am scared that
They
I'm
should
going to
be.
get hit.
That should
And
be
if
a
I'm getting
walkway.
hit, whatever that impact is, and I'm only
Yeah.
walking 4 miles
Goodbye.
an hour,
Yeah,
and
I'll push
they're
your
running
wheel- I will
22
push-
miles
I
an hour,
will push your
the
wheelchair
impact is
for you.
26
One at a
miles an
time,
hour.
boys,
If
one at a
I could one at a time, and if I could, the city, while lacking our motorcycle helmet for the e-bike thing, but the city does already have ordinances on the books about the use of bicycles, electric or otherwise, on sidewalks and walkways in and around downtown. But if we don't enforce
They're
it,
not being enforced.
correct. And if LPD is not enforcing
And how
that
do you
ordinance,
enforce it? How does LPD in their vehicle, in a kid on a
Correct.
bicycle, or a person on a bicycle that can easily go through backyards and easily take turns that a
Correct.
vehicle, a police vehicle can't? That's another issue.
And then,
but I think
how about
What about the
the
motorcycle cops?
how
What about
about
motorcycle
no? But
cops?
how about the outcry that's going to come when the kid runs into the problem? Let's face it. The problem, honestly, this is a guy who's had to put tags on little toes at the morgue, talking. Okay, the moment they decided to put bike lanes on the road, okay, roads were made for cars, not for bikes. I'm sorry to say it, but danger, danger, danger. And now with let's go on bikes, let's go on bikes. Guess what happened in this country? You have people that have taken advantage of it, and now they're pushing these so-called bikes that are motorcycles, and now you have those increased dangers on the road.
I'm just trying to figure out where people are supposed to ride a bicycle if it's not in a bike lane and it's not on the road.
Not
it's
on the road with
sidewalk.
cars.
Oh, I like them on
Okay.
the
Well, they also can't have a bike lane, Cisco. So I'm just trying to
So-
piece together in Cisco's America. I'm just trying to figure out where the bike goes, right?
It goes in the
'Cause
lane with the cars. It's a state law.
Well, according to Cisco, painting the bike lane is wrong. We can't have them on the sidewalk. I think we all, I hope, Freddie, I think, said it first. We all agree they should not be on the sidewalk. They're going to run over my 2-year-old. My 2-year-old's losing the race to anybody. I don't care if it's a pedal
They're gonna
bike.
run me over.
I don't care if it's the big trike outside. We're losing a. But
Sean,
or
a dead
you get in the road.
a dead person's not going to win a battle of that, okay? When you're dead after getting struck by a vehicle, look, most vehicles out there weigh 3,000 pounds, okay?
I'm just Cisco. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand the
more like
100 years of
5,000.
road cycling that I guess needs to go out the window because bicycles aren't supposed to be on a street. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
How about that old timer that got hit by the buffalo? Did
Oh.
anybody see that?
I
Oh
saw
my
that.
God.
Huh?
Things are mighty powerful.
Oh, they wiped out his leg.
Yeah, Bison got mad at him
But
over a Yellowstone.
listen,
and
no.
they said he was having a bad moment.
You
with
guys
the Bison,
try to
and
save
they went
me?
after the guy and shot him in the ear,
Yeah.
higher than the ceiling. And the guy came crashing down to earth and needed to have an operation.
You know, we have just as many problems with pedal bikes, not electric bikes, in Lowell. So does in Dorchester, but they got 60 at a time in a group going down the street in Dorchester or Roxbury. In Lowell, you get maybe 10 of them, and it happens now and then. They're on a wheelie. I can't believe how good they can do. They can,
Pretty good.
oh, they can keep a wheelie forever.
And Sean,
And
like, I mean, I
it's
think
gonna-
to
someone's gonna get
To
it.
your point, you're right. Bikes
This
should
is,
be allowed, but they should, no, meaning, but drive sensibly. And I've seen, like he says, kids doing wheelies in the street. People, I can't drive down car, like you said, roads are made for cars, and they have a bike lane. You can get pulled over driving that bike lane with your car. It's a whole.
You get out, and the bike should get out of there. If there's all this, but this is why I'm like, what do
I
you?
want 35
How
seconds.
about
35
you want,
seconds of
you want
35
better infrastructure for
Cisco.
bikes?
35 seconds of your time.
Yeah.
This is Grandpa gets tossed
Oh, this
by
poor
the
guy.
Oh,
bison.
no.
Here we go. What did you see how powerful this freaking animal is?
Well, they weigh what a car
Charlie's going
weighs.
to talk to us first. Okay, Charlie, tell me.
That
That's good. Thank you,
thing's
Charlie. Show
1,500
us the
pounds.
bull. There we go.
That
He
thing
gets
weighs
up. He
1,500
gets up from his
pounds.
spot.
Yep, he's not happy. They said he had high testosterone. It's
And this
amazing.
is the time that they produce.
He's chasing Grandpa.
There's the old timer. He's moving pretty good.
Oh, that's
Oh my God!
On your trip to Yellowstone.
Oh
On
yeah!
your trip to Yellowstone.
Oh man, I tell you, I think I would.
Oh, he lived.
Oh, yeah,
he lived. He
Yeah,
got an
he had a
operation.
God.
broken leg.
He had an
Broken leg.
operation. Broken,
Yeah, broken
yeah,
leg.
he-
He's fine.
Yeah, broke a lot of stuff.
But he's also
broken
it
leg that would
happens out
take a
to
year
death
and a
as time
half.
Don't
goes
worry,
on.
that happens with cars and bikes
with
all the
cars.
time. That the heights are a lot bigger.
I'd rather get hit
Sean.
by a car than that buffalo.
I'm sorry. I'm going back for a second. Cisco can pull out his phone and send a text about me being arrogant. in a
No,
second.
I'm not texting you. I
kidding.
like.
Cisco, it's a joke.
We have to debate about it. I'm just talking from experience. I've seen it. Okay, I've been affected again.
Right, but Cisco,
Because
cars get in car accidents.
I-
We get cars off the street.
I'm just saying that bikes on the road are inherently dangerous for pedestrians.
I take a bike
and
everywhere.
just what I want to say to that, I drove for a living for a lot of years. There's more nuts in vehicles, cars, than these kids on pedal bikes. Cars are crazy.
The electric
25 mile an hour. I see it on Boylston Street all the time. They're doing 60. I live on a dead end street. I hope they put one of those speed humps right in front of my house. And it's unbelievable how fast cars are driving. That 25 miles an hour ain't working.
Well,
It's not working.
it's not that it's not working, and it's not that, we need to, I guess, ban bicycles everywhere. It's that are there other rules that we need? Probably, like the helmet thing. However, if we don't enforce what we already have on the books, and I'm not talking about, the kind of sting operation with the state police helicopter you need when they get to 60 people going down Bridge Street. I'm talking about you got 2 cops walking a beat downtown, and you got someone is riding a bicycle on the sidewalk at speed. Why are we letting it go? We shouldn't tolerate it. It's illegal in the city of Lowell to ride that bicycle on a sidewalk in downtown. If you're riding your bicycle, that's one bull you don't want to grab by the horns. That's true.
Got a bunch of them.
Oh boy. How about people who run on the roads? Go to the track. The city just now I can't leave my house anymore. Jay, no more running, no more biking. It's Cisco's tank everywhere.
I don't mind. My kid, I don't have any kids. They're not going to end up in the morgue.
Regina Fatacanti had the best question when it came to electric bikes. She asked how many drove their bikes to the meeting. It went silent. Jay, I don't drive often. How about people crossing when they don't get the cross signal? That's a big problem in the city also.
Back to you guys.
If they weren't driving, sorry, hold on, because I almost got hit by a car this morning. If they were driving 25 miles an hour and I look left and I look right and you're at the far end of Market Street, I have more than enough time to walk across the street. However, if you decide you're going to use Market Street or Merrimack Street as a drag strip, now I don't have enough time because you're speeding. I still blame you.
Downtown Lowell is
I gotta not get hit by the car. It's on me, but it's on you for speeding.
I've said this many times. Downtown Lowell is the jaywalking capital of the world.
I'm scared to go down Appleton Street.
Yeah.
I went down Appleton Street 3 times yesterday, and people walking back
Non-stop.
and forth is like, it might as well just be sidewalks, and I should ultimately not even be driving my vehicle. It might as well be downtown crossing in Boston.
Yeah.
Don't even put a vehicle.
No,
because someone's going to get hit, and it's going to result.
How about
an issue.
try that after the sunset? I've done that a couple times, and I've refused to drive the
I came
same
up
street
after the sunset
because the
yesterday.
fact that you got these people all dressed in black, just walking in the middle of the road, not understanding, again, physics, sorry folks, but, it takes 100 feet for a car to stop after you see the person. So if you're within that 100 feet, guess what? You're going to go flying like
Just
the old guy.
timer. Yeah. But I will say this, I understand bikes. I like to ride my bicycle too. I understand the commute around the city of Lowell where people have a 25 mile an hour ordinance. We do need to ride in the streets. I get that. But also the VFW highway, that new work that they just did on it right after the college, there's a bike lane there.
It's silly.
And ultimately that's a very curvy part, and there's been a lot of accidents on that road over the course of my lifetime. And now you're saying that there's a bike lane there and I can get on that bike lane? I wouldn't get on that bike lane if you gave me $100,000 to ride on it every day.
So-
I'd be scared to death that I'm going to get wet.
Can I
I
close
agree
my bike stuff and I won't talk about it anymore? So we showed that video with that guy being tossed in the air. And the one thing that I just want to point out that I mentioned earlier was torque. See that torque of that body flying through the air? At a higher speed, the aorta that connects your heart to the bloodstream would rip. And that guy would
Bleed to death.
would bleed to death, yes. Thank God he looked like he was in good shape,
No.
Unlike,
Broken bones.
we just lost a senator, right?
Yeah.
With an aorta issue.
Somebody in the audience asked, what's the percentage of people getting killed on bikes? And around 96% of all fatal bicycle accidents involve a collision with a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
So this business of they don't need a helmet, they can just wear the G.I. Joe helmet from Zayre's they bought for $2.
Over in Somerville, when I ride through Somerville, that's a very bicycle commuter type of city. And there's just streams of people bicycling around that town, and it's not uncommon. It would be nice if you could see something like that.
Well,
But they follow sort of some order, and they also do have some raised strips or some raised whatever you want to call it, barriers, where the bikes are in a whole separate area
Correct.
as well.
And I have news for I guess the city of Lowell, right? Or a certain segment of the city of Lowell is that you want to talk about development and jobs and the kinds of jobs. You want to bring Draper to Lowell. You want to bring these high-tech manufacturing jobs to Lowell. You want to bring these well-paying jobs. You want market rate housing where market rate is pushing $3,000, and they're either going to work hopefully at one of these high-tech things in the city, or they're going to get on the train most likely and go in towards Boston. They all like their bikes. Right? Like you're talking about the people, Freddie, to Freddie's point about Somerville, you're talking about the people that live in Somerville right now. That's who you're talking about.
Sure.
When you talk about market rate housing, in market rate housing developments that are going to be pushing $3,000 on rent, in work opportunities that are these high-tech engineering, these people like their bikes. They just do.
That's
it's a fact.
But these bikes are different than the e-bikes.
Correct.
Back to that, right?
A
regular bike weighs about
Correct.
20 pounds.
Yeah.
Where those e-bikes weigh, and I've lifted one or two
They're heavy.
of them, they're 60 to 85 pounds.
Yeah.
Altogether different, and they go at a much different rate.
Yeah, and I think getting the throttle e-bikes class, which is what I understand the state to be working on, getting these throttle e-bikes, whether they got pedals or not, classed as mopeds, which we already have all this regulation for. I think that's what the helmets. We need the helmets, but at the state level, the things need to be classed.
And now we're waiting for the state.
We can't make the mopeds in the city of Lowell, right? But if the state does it, we can do the helmet thing. We should keep them off the sidewalks. They should not be going the wrong way down the street. They should follow all the normal rules that they already are supposed to be following.
Sure, I got you. But now we're waiting for the state, and the
Right.
state's going to be out of session probably in
I know.
about a day.
I know.
And ultimately, we need to wait until the next session comes in play, which is January 1. So that's going nowhere.
Right.
So maybe the city of Lowell needs to
get
go
to
ahead
somewhere,
and
yeah.
develop some ordinance.
I agree with you.
To go ahead and keep us a little bit safer.
Agree with you.
You know, I've talked to a few teenagers, maybe a half a dozen. I said, "You got your license yet?" "Oh, yeah, I got my license." I said, "Did they take you up on the highway?" "No." Not one of them told me they were taken up on the highway. And if you go up a ramp and try to get on 495, it's a pretty scary thing for someone new. I'm glad some of them will wait till they're 20 to get a license, to be honest with you. Roads are terrible. They really are, and I don't think the cops can do much about it. You could pull over a few people here and there, but you're not going to stop what I see. There's just too many people that are doing crazy things.
Rob, you want to take these?
Driving 25 mile an hour is laughable. I've witnessed the ex-mayor and several city councilors going over the speed limit.
Jay gets around.
Things that make you go, Jay, thanks, Jay.
I didn't see. I
What
thought
other statistics?
We
did that one.
Okay. Coffee roll on the grill or toasted?
On the grill.
On the grill.
on the grill with plenty of butter.
No, yeah.
That's it, thanks.
Yeah, but I can't stop saying this enough. I really do feel they'll be able to keep all of you people alive till you're 100.
If
Because
you're
of
not riding a
technology,
bike.
I don't care what's wrong with you.
Maybe
I'm
my
telling you.
kids, not us, Bob. Maybe my kids.
Oh, no, I think it's coming for us, I'm telling you right now. All you gotta do
Well,
is
there's
watch.
Freeman Trail in Chelmsford. It's in Lowell,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the walkers don't particularly care for the electric bikes using this thing. They don't like bicyclists using it. It's a wall that's going on the whole Freeman Trail.
It's a walkway.
It's a
bike.
bikeway, it's a
Oh,
bikeway.
it's a bike
That's
lane.
a bike lane.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can't
Oh,
you-
they-
Bike lane.
It's a
there's
walkway
no-
slash bike
Tommy,
way,
there's
but
no
you shouldn't
rule.
have an e-bike on
You
it.
shouldn't have an e-bike on it.
Because I'm walking, and again,
No
if you're
rule.
coming out by me, you hit me with that 70-pound bike, I'm hurt.
I don't like it.
Isn't there a trail that goes all the way to Cambridge from Lowell? You can go through Chelmsford, I think you can get to Cambridge.
I
You
can
can
get-
connect,
Can
you can, that Bruce
Can that
Freeman
Freeman-
connects to something. I don't remember
It
off the top
does,
of
it
my head.
connects.
You can connect to a couple spots off that.
Right, it connects out towards Acton. It goes
Yeah, it
beyond
goes that way.
Acton.
But then there's a junction out by
Is
Acton.
the Minuteman Trail? Is it the
Maybe.
Minuteman Trail that comes in out of Lexington and boom, it shoots back over into Boston?
Right.
It could be the Minuteman
could be.
Trail.
Thursday night, there's a doubleheader, by the way, Spinners Park, I'm pretty sure. Starts at 5. I haven't made a game yet. I think I'm gonna make that doubleheader.
They're fun.
And then,
This is for the Sean Club.
Getting back to tax title, how is it
So Wesel.
Silresum still owns 3 properties on Tanner Street? Weren't they the biggest polluters in Lowell, Counselor?
Well, that's where your data center is gonna end up, I hate to tell you.
I know.
Where's it gonna end up?
At the old plant that had all the pollution.
No, it's not.
So
It's the power plant. It's the power plant they bought. They didn't buy So Wesel.
Oh, they had to buy some of them?
They bought the power plant.
is this
Good
gonna
question. I'll
be,
look into Silresum. That's a good
is
question.
this gonna be your first folk festival coming up at the
As a
end of the month?
counselor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another
Indeed.
good time for Lowell.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And
I love Folk Fest.
And I just want to address the question that Bobby came at me originally.
Mhm.
I will keep an eye on the special ed programs.
Yeah.
I know that other school committee members will keep an eye on those special ed programs because it is so vital
Yeah, it is.
to the school system, and we realistically have to go ahead and keep on enhancing it, keep boosting it, and ultimately keep working to benefit so many of our students that truthfully, if they, fall away, then they don't have a chance to succeed in life. So, and I understand it, I really do.
Yeah.
And I think we have, a good place with our assistant superintendent that will sort of give us the guidance to go ahead and expand it and enhance it and to make it work best for our community. It's vital, and I get it.
I just found out, Fred maybe confirmed this, that we talk about finance with kids in school, that the Gender Credit Union does workshops in the schools now for the kids.
They do.
I was talking to a girl over the weekend, who was a friend of my wife's, and they teach them the best they can finance.
Financial
checks.
literacy.
Yeah, okay, so that's, at least it's a start. I didn't realize it, that they go around all different schools.
Sure.
And
They do it at Greater Lowell.
at least it's a start.
They do it at Greater Lowell. They're doing it at the LYLP, Lowell
Okay.
Youth Leadership Program right now.
Yeah.
And the city of Lowell, the school, the summer school is getting it as
And
well.
I'm assuming it's no
So-
cost,
but
right?
It's all St. Jean Dark. Right,
Yeah.
so they only have so much to go around.
Right,
But yes,
right.
it's all
Yeah.
on the cost
Yeah,
of St. Jean
that's
Dark.
good. That's a good program.
It's a great program.
Yeah.
Financial literacy
Yeah.
is vital.
Okay, I'm gonna do the announcements real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna ask Freddie and Sean a question. City Hall Clock Tower dedication is gonna be July 18th, 10:30 at Lowell City Hall. You gonna go for it?
Not to joke.
Okay. So, gonna be a nice celebration for this guy. A lot of service to the city, and so I hope you can make it down and honor Wally. Good guy. And that's gonna be July 18th, which is this week. So,
Saturday.
Saturday. Kiki Rudy sent me this from Billerica. They're having a boxing thing out in Billerica. So Friday, July 24th, boxingpromotions.com has more information if you want. But the Billerica Brawl from Tajada and Molina, these two guys are going to put up a good fight.
Yeah, at halftime, they'll show you the corner there.
Now, it's going to be hotter than the hammers of hell today. So consider, if you're 60 years old, that's our only rule, heading over to the senior center. They're going to have Herb Chicken. Herb Chicken, right there. Good old Herbie.
Is Herb going to be there?
Yep, you'll be eating Herb. And $2. If you don't have the $2, they'll let you eat for free. So a nice air-conditioned spot, $2 for lunch. These are the trips we're talking about, the Lowell Senior Center has. Every senior center has trips. Take a look at that little magazine they mail you every month, you old-timers. Go for a good time. You get a nice ride down to Hampton Beach. It's good stuff. Moving right along here. You want to cool your kiddo off today? This is where you go. Shed Park, which way out Rogers Street, O'Donnell Park, Gorham Street, Armory Park, Westford Street, and Mulligan Park, 89 Plain. So take a picture of this slide, bring your kiddo over there, cool the kiddo off, maybe put your own toes in the water. Good time. Welcome to the city of Lowell. This is coming up. This has already gone by. So never mind this guy. Free buses through September 30th. Just wave at the bus driver, he'll give you a nice free ride on a nice air-conditioned bus. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mara Haley.
I just want to say one thing.
I got an
about
announcement.
about-
The Tyler Park concert series, there's a free concert on this Thursday. It starts at, I'll be there at 4:30 playing music prior to the group that's playing. They start, I think, they
Start
start
at
at 6:30.
This week
So
they start at
it's
6:30.
all free popcorn, free hot dogs, and it's a fun time. Bring the kids out. The weather looks good, so come
Where
on
is
down.
this? Where is this?
Tyler Park on Westford Street.
Okay.
Just don't ride your bike, I guess, right?
He had the
No, you
thing
can
up,
ride your
No, I'm kidding.
he had
There's not a lot of bikes there. There's no bike parking.
the dedication for Wally Burns. Wally Burns was a dedicated city employee. He was the custodian at Town Hall for, I think they said 42 years. But, when you say about a guy that was there every morning on time and worked till whatever time he closed, but great guy. I'm glad they're doing this for him, and he's resting in peace. I know. So, just want to say that about Wally.
So I want to ask Freddie and Sean, what's the best thing about being an elected official? What's the worst thing, Fred? The best and the worst.
The best thing is realistically being able to go ahead and listen to the people and then go ahead and present their ideas to the administration, to the powers that be, and to go ahead and realistically work with them to go ahead and create that program. That is the absolute best thing about it. The worst thing, the worst thing is, truthfully, people are very critical of you because, you're trying to do the very best thing. But as long as realistically you do the best that you can be comfortable in your own skin. So that's my two
Okay,
quick thoughts that come to my head.
sliding over the table to Sean, same question. What's the worst thing about being an elected official? What's the best thing about it?
Best thing, I agree with Freddie. But best thing, well, actually, the best thing is when you can see. So I had one finally. There was this awful sidewalk. I'm on to the next one. The moon landing over at TD Bank. But you listen to people. I do find that I get a crowd of people that I think is less familiar with going through the council to try and get something done. It's a lot of younger people. It's a lot of it's just the nature of the job, which is fun. It's nice to see people who have not really known how to go about this before start doing it. And this giant hole in the sidewalk that got filled in right in front of Father John's. Talk about young people now, it's for the old people, but right in front of the Father John Senior Building, there was this big crater that people were taking people out, but got it over to Sean Machado, and you got somebody, fixed it, sent the mason over. It looks really nice now. People are not tripping. All my neighbors are very happy.
Isn't that the front
All the
of your
seniors.
house? That's the front of your house, right?
No, it's next door to my house.
Good.
But it doesn't change the fact that it was right in front of the entrance to the Father John's Medicine Building. It just meant every day it wasn't getting worked on, I could see it and send the picture again. And then
What's the worst thing?
the worst thing is that some of the criticism is just not very creative or accurate. Like I've done a lot wrong. I do a lot wrong. I just like it when people are mad at me for things that are true or like at least reasonable. It's difficult when people kind of make things up to be upset. I've done enough to be upset about that you shouldn't have to make anything up or kind of stretch,
Okay.
I like it when it's a good, I want to feel bad about the inside. I shouldn't be able to laugh at your critique. I should go, oh no, I did that. They didn't like it.
Sure. Feel
Yeah.
free to approach me. And talk
Yeah,
to me
please
about it.
do. I'd
I'd love to have the
I love it.
conversation.
So I'm going to
with you.
ask Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby's pushed back from elected politics right now. Bobby, when you were in office, what was the best thing about being in office? What was the worst?
I think the best thing for us back in them days was to go out with Billtopia and get some chicken wings, and everything was always free. Free. Everything was free.
Wow.
Free drinks. Long as you were voting that way to save the schools. Just save the schools, Bob. That's all Billtopia said. Over and over and over.
What was the worst thing?
The worst thing?
The hangover?
No, I would say George Cooler Harris and myself in the back room where we have little lockers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very small. And I can't say some of the things he said to me, but he looked at me and said, I hope you have a set of cahooters. Yeah, to get something done. And I flipped on him. I actually flipped, and it's probably the worst thing was bilingual education to this day. I just felt that they presented, kids needed it. A certain group needed it. That's all if I hear 5 kids need it, I'm gonna lean that way. But bilingual education, I kind of wish I might have stuck to my guns and said, get rid of it. Because
Okay.
I just let you know, I seen a lot of 4-year-olds. Go ahead right there, somebody.
Great show today. Best food to eat at the ballpark.
Hot dogs.
Yep. No contest.
Phil Shea used to tell me that
Sociopaths
you
get
do
burgers
10
at the
things.
ballpark.
Phil Shea told me when he was in public life, you do 10 things right for the citizens, and they love you. You do that one thing wrong, and you're down the tubes with them. He said, "Yeah, you can't please everybody."
Which I'm fine with. It's to Freddie's point. Come talk to me. I'll talk to anybody. I take almost. People seem to think I take stuff. I don't take anything personally, really. I'll joke about it. I can joke about myself. I can joke about Cisco. Joke about anything. It's a joke. I joke about Freddie. I'll joke about anybody, myself included. It's just when the one thing you did wrong isn't even what they're upset about, and you're like, well, hold on a second. If you should be mad at me for that, this actually hurt you. You should be mad at me for this thing.
Yeah.
But
They're mad at you because other people say
Because other
they're mad
people
at you,
say they-
they're
and then
the-
they
the
just parrot it.
mouthpiece, and then
Right.
they show it, and then they let it grow.
correct.
You
right?
can always
Be
tell.
mad at me for what I did. That's all.
You can
Because I
always
address
tell
it.
when you're doing your job. You'll have people barking at you. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The more you do, and you've done tons for first-time city council. And Fred, during the budget hearing, I thought you were the best. You
Listen,
had some good
at
questions.
the end, vocational programming is starting in Lowell Public Schools on
Yeah.
September 1st, and that was something that I thought the city needed, and we've got it implemented, and we're going to run with it, and boy, oh boy, does that feel good.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna benefit hundreds, if not thousands of students.
Fred,
For the rest of Lowell
I
Public
tried
Schools.
that about 25 years ago. And when you did that, I was so happy. I tried to get some master electricians and master plumbers at Lowell High School to keep it going and, never.
And realistically, for the administration to buy into it and invest in it, that really makes me feel good.
Right.
And, makes me an advocate of the administration.
Hey, time is running short. Tomorrow's City Life. Linda Bound's going to be the host. Rita Mercy is going to be here, so that'll be a fun show. And then the last text of the day is, Topia loved his chicken wings.
Oh, no doubt about it. Bill Topia
That's from Bart.
he was a really good guy. He knew the city, and that's
Good
all we
real
said.
estate guy.
If you don't take care of your school system, your city will go down the drain. Simple. And I think over the past, 25 years, we fired too many superintendents.
Yeah.
We stuck with George Cooler Harris when I was there. George
George
Sapasaris.
yeah.
I put a motion in, right, to give him a 3-year contract extension at a meeting, and it passed. It passed without a fight. He was a dog
He was
at
probably
work.
the last of the good ones.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
18 hours a day, it seemed like he worked,
There's something to be said about long-term superintendents. We just had a long-term superintendent at Greater Lowell Tech. She's leaving at the end of the year, 6 years. And the school has grown exponentially. Graduation rates are up, attendance rates are up. Programs that, the state's funded are up. This is probably one of the best things that we can do is have a long-term.
Freddie, what are we paying the new guy?
The new guy is going to be making Mike Barton $235,000 a year.
For managing one building, not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yep.
It's about what it costs.
Hey, guys, thanks for getting up extra early today. Nice job.
Thanks for having
Stay
us.
cool.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
See you next time.